Imagine this. You finally find your dream home. You make an offer. It's accepted. You put down a 10% deposit, which is $500,000. You go back to the bank to get your home loan and they say no, and you lose $500,000. How can this happen? How is it acceptable to lose a 10% deposit when buying property? And if you think it can't happen to you, think again. In this video, I talk about how this can happen and what you can do to avoid having this happen to you. I'm Linda Hamilton, author of Pay It in 5. We paid our home loan off in 5 years. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a money muscle workout. One young couple bought a property in Queensland. They had their pre-approval. Approval didn't come through until a day after settlement. They were not able to secure a 1-day extension for their settlement, and they lost their 10% deposit. They lost $75,000. Having a pre-approval does not mean you will be able to secure a home loan. In this case, they were very lucky. The bank was found to be at fault for not being able to secure the home loan in time for settlement, and they did get their money back from the bank. However, this is very unlikely. If you do lose your deposit for whatever reason, it's highly unlikely that you will get your money back from the bank. In another case, in the state of Victoria in Australia, there was a young family. They had 3 kids and big dreams, and they put a deposit down for a $3.2 million property. In the end, they couldn't secure a home loan and they lost $320,000. That 10% deposit was gone and they did not get their money back. This is where so many people get caught. You've got your pre-approval and you think you're ready to go. Whether it's $75,000 or $300,000 or $500,000. You put down a 10% deposit and you lose it all. Let me be super clear. A pre-approval is just a maybe. Everything looks good right now and it's highly likely that your approval will go through, but things can happen on the way that you don't expect, and it's not a binding commitment. So we don't have to lend you the money until your lender does a full valuation of the property, runs through the final checks, and issues the formal approvals. Your home loan is not locked in. Without that, you're exposed. There are 7 things you can do to minimize the chances of losing your deposit. Number 1, make sure the subject to finance clause is in the contract. The subject to finance clause gives you a legal exit in case your home loan doesn't go through. Some lawyers or solicitors will remove that subject to finance clause. But if that subject to finance clause is removed, you're still on the hook, which means you're legally required to settle on settlement date. And just so you know, if you're buying at auction, this subject to finance clause is removed. You're buying unconditionally. Number 2, give yourself a decent buffer. One of the reasons why some people can get pre-approval but don't actually get the home loan is because of this hidden surprise that I talk about in this video. It's that valuation coming in at lower what you pay for the property. There's a chance that your home loan could fall through because your property is valued at less than what you paid for it. And when it is valued at less than what you paid for it, you have to pay the difference. You need a decent buffer to be able to handle a lower valuation fee in case that happens. Number 3, see if your solicitor can negotiate that 10% to be a 5% deposit instead. Try to reduce the amount so that you're not putting your whole life savings on the line before you sign anything. Make sure your solicitor has had a look at the contract. Number 4, expect to borrow less than what you think you can borrow. You never know if the property valuation will come in at lower than what you are just paying for the property. You don't know what can happen along the way. So don't borrow the maximum that they're willing to give you on your pre-approval. You don't know what's going to happen. You could end up in strife. Buy something that is more within your means. Don't cap yourself out on the biggest home loan that you could possibly get. That's a really high risk situation where you could lose thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And number 5, act fast. If you find that you're in a situation where it's possible that you might not get the home loan, act fast. Get extensions. Do everything in your power to be able to make sure you can get the home loan. Find different ways, find alternatives, find out what you need to do to get the home loan so that you can settle. You don't want to lose your deposit. Number 6, take out the emotions when you buy a property. You feel emotional because you don't want to lose the house to somebody else. And you assume that the bank is going to come through with the money. You do have your pre-approval after all. There's one thing you can do to avoid becoming emotional. Watch this video for one question you can ask yourself to help avoid getting emotionally tied up to a property. If somebody is buying your property one day and their money doesn't come through, they can't get the home loan, don't take the 10% deposit from them. Legally, you can take that deposit, but that's somebody's life savings. That's somebody's hard-earned dollars that they've been saving for years and years and years. Don't take their 10% deposit. Any loss that you would incur does not equal 10% of what they're paying. Give that money back. These aren't careless people. These are doctors, professionals, young couples who've been saving for years for a deposit to get into the market or to move on and buy their dream home. And number 7, do everything that you can to make sure that you've got everything lined up to be able to get a home loan. For example, what is the exact pieces of evidence that you need to provide to be able to show that you can pay your home loan off? On our first property, I was on a casual wage. I was told that they would be able to take my casual wage into account, but when it came down to it and we tried to get a home loan, they wouldn't accept it. And they wouldn't accept it because I didn't have 3 consecutive pay slips in a row that were consecutive every fortnight. I had 3 consecutive pay slips, but they weren't consecutive in the way that the bank wanted them. So we couldn't use my casual wage for our home loan, which meant that we couldn't borrow as much money as we originally wanted to borrow. For us, number 4 saved us. And if you're buying at auction where it's an unconditional sale, which means you could lose a 10% deposit, talk to your lender and get everything lined up before you raise your paddle. Oh, that's not a paddle. That's my book, Pay It in 5. I'm Linda Hamilton, author of Pay It in 5. We paid our home loan off in 5 years. Want to know how? Get the book. No one expects to lose their house deposit when they're going for a property, but it can happen. You don't want it to be you, and it doesn't mean you are reckless. It just means that you weren't fully protected. And ask the tough questions. If you'd like a list of 30 ready-made questions to ask your lender, check the link in the description. Pre-approval doesn't mean you will get your home loan. Be careful. And if you know someone who would benefit from this video, go and share it with them. If you are serious about buying in the next 6 to 12 months and you'd like to work directly with me to help you create a plan specifically for your situation, comment below with the word waitlist to make it happen. Before you go, because you've made it to the end, I would like to show my thanks with an exclusive offer for you. I launched Money Shape Up in 2025, and each month in 2025, I'm giving away a free copy of my book, Pay It in 5. If you'd like to win a copy, click on the link in the description. I believe in sharing knowledge and resources, and I love hearing stories on how this helps you. Happy house hunting, and see you again in just a moment.